So everywhere you look, every real estate blogs or podcasts you listen to, all these real estate guru always say one thing. Hey, don't sell your house. Just convert it into a rental property and you can earn a cash flow. You can earn passive income from your property. The tenant is going to pay down your property for you. Among other things, while it might make sense to rent out your current home and go buy another one, but this is the truth. Most people don't like to hear this one I'm about to tell you because they just like the easy part and the sweet stuff. You see, for many homeowners, that move can quietly destroy a six-figure of wealth that they could have owned. I've seen people lose over $100,000 in taxes just because they follow this generic advice blindly. So in this video, I'm going to break down who should never convert their current home into a rental property. And if that's you, I hope you find value in this video. And I'm also going to walk you through the exact situation where it actually makes sense to hold on to your property or sell the property instead of renting it out to a tenant. Because if you do this the wrong way, you could lose a lot of money. I'm talking about thousands of dollars in taxes that you could have put in your pocket. And you could also lock yourself into a bad tenant relationship and also insurance trap. And above all, you could block yourself from buying your next dream home if you do this the wrong way. And by the end of this video, you will know the hidden financial trap, emotional pitfall, and smarter ways to use your home equity to build real wealth. I am Wale Lawal, a Texas-based real estate broker and a real estate investor that has helped over 400 new and experienced home buyers and investors and sellers to make smart decisions when it comes to real estate. I've also been able to build a seven-figure rental portfolio for myself, and I've helped countless of investors to do the same. So trust me, I've seen this happen in real time. I've seen people turning the wrong property into a rental, and of course, it didn't end well for them. Now, sometimes it might work well for them if they do it the right way, but sometimes if you don't have the experience, it always ends up as a disaster. The number one reason why you don't want to convert your current home into a rental property is the tax benefit. You see, the government give you $250,000 as a single person that when you live in your house for about 2 years, you can sell the property and keep up to $250,000 in capital gain that you will have paid. If you're a married couple, you can gain up to $500,000 tax-free. And this one mistake most people don't even realize until it's too late for them, because the IRS gives you this incredible gift of $250,000 as a single person and $500,000 as a married couple. So why will you let that go to waste? Now, you must live in the property for at least 2 years of the last 5 years for you to qualify for these savings. So when you convert your property into a rentals and hold it too long, now you are giving up that tax-free money that you could have collected and use it to fund your next investment or next business. Now, if you plan to hold the property for a long term, you might still make sense to hold it. But if you know that, hey, I do want to take advantage of this tax benefit, please don't convert your house to a rental property. And again, I've seen this in real time. I've seen clients walk away from $300,000 tax-free money simply because they were just chasing about a few $100s every month on what they call cash flow. And as you can guess, that is not an investment strategy. That is an expensive emotional decision that cost him $300,000. The reason number two is that if you rent your property out to a tenant, it might block your next home purchase. Because here is something your lenders probably won't tell you. When your whole home becomes a rental property, the bank doesn't just ignore the debt. So if it's not cash flowing strong enough, it can destroy your debt to income ratio and delay your next mortgage approval, because you will not be able to buy your next home because they are seeing your current home as a liability for you, because maybe your mortgage is $3,000 but you're only renting that property for $2,000. Now you're about negative $1,000. So be careful with that. Some lender will even require you to have a signed lease agreement and proof of rental deposit in your bank account that has been continuing for the last 2-3 months before they approve you for a new loan. Again, they just want to make sure they are helping themselves to reduce their risk and also making sure that your current property that you rented out is performing well, so it will not be added stress for you if they approve you for the new loan. And I've even seen some area where the rental comparable is really weak, that it just doesn't make sense to rent out your current home. Maybe your house is a $1.2 million house, but the rent for such houses will not be more than $5,000. So that doesn't make financial sense. At that point, I probably will keep your property, or if you have to move, I will sell it and go reinvest the money or go use it to buy the next home. So as you can see, these are a few situations where your current home, instead of it being a stepping stone for you to buy your move up home or your next home, it actually becomes an anchor that is holding you back from moving on to the next phase of your life. The number three reason is the landlord life is not for everybody. This is what a lot of people don't even talk about. So let's talk about the emotional side. That's no one, again, not talking about enough. You can love your home, but that doesn't mean your tenant that you approve will love your home. They will call you at midnight about leaking toilets. They will scratch the wall. They can miss payment. And sometimes you might have to drag them to an eviction court. And if you are not ready for this stress or don't have the system or energy or experience to do this, your investment can quickly become your second job. Unless you have a property manager that is capable and experienced to handle this kind of situation. And as you can see, doing this the wrong way means you're not buying the freedom, you're not buying the cash flow that you are looking to do, you are simply buying headache. The number 4 reason why you should not convert your current home into a rental is not every home makes smart rental. So here is the biggest logic trap. Just because you live in your house comfortably doesn't mean that it is a profitable rental property. Especially if your home is a luxury, the rent in that area will most likely not cover your mortgage. Also, if the house is in a flood zone, you're going to have a high flood insurance, plus renter will even demand that from you as well. So especially if your home is very outdated and is built in the 1920s and thousands in repairs can be draining your pocket every single month, especially because tenants will prefer a modern contemporary house, so it might not make a rental sense at that point for you. So if your number doesn't work on paper before you list it for rent, you are not investing, you are simply gambling. So here is a quick story. One of my clients tried to rent out their $450,000 house in Houston, Texas. They were expecting a very conservative number of $300 in monthly cash flow. So 2 years later, here's what happened to them. Property taxes jump, insurance double after the storm, and the tenants missed 2 months of their rent. Now my client is in a hole and is in a negative. And when they finally sold the property 3 years later, they had lost the $500,000 tax-free exemption they could have qualified for if they had sold the property immediately. And to even make matter worse, they now owe IRS 6 figures in capital gain. And that is the $100,000 mistake I do not want you to make. The number 5 reason is the legal and insurance trap. You see, when you move out from your current home, you're going to change the current insurance policy from homeowner policy into a landlord policy, because your current homeowner policy is going to be voided because you no longer live there. You need a landlord insurance, and it costs more than regular homeowner because the insurance are also protecting themselves. They believe as a homeowner, when you live in your house, you will take a better care of that house as compared to when you are renting it out to a tenant. And if you try to be smart and you rent out your property without changing the insurance policy to a landlord policy, a single accident could leave you completely uncovered, because when you file a claim with insurance company, they will quickly see that, hey, are you still living there? If the answer is a no, and they can verify that you are not living there, they will easily decline your insurance claim. Now, imagine your tenant property were destroyed during this accident. Maybe it's a hail, maybe it's a storm, maybe it's a flood issue, and now your insurance doesn't protect you. They decline it because you were not living in the house anymore, and you failed to change it to a landlord insurance. Now you just expose yourself to a potential lawsuit that can damage your reputation, damage your credit, and expose you to a long-term legal battle. And the legal side alone can erase little cash flow that you were thinking you're going to be getting from that property. The number 6 reason is emotional attachment equals to bad business. This one is very, very personal because most people can't even separate emotions from a simple business math. They over-upgrade the property, they undercharge the rent, and they panic at every single repair calls that the tenants make to them. So if you cannot detach yourself emotionally from your previous house or your current home you're currently living in, do not rent it out as a rental property, because you will never run the home like a real investment. And the reason number 7 is the opportunity cost that you don't clearly see. Now, even if your property cash flow right now, let's assume you're cash flowing $500 now, ask yourself, could that equity work harder somewhere else? Let's say you have about $600,000 equity in your house. If you free up that equity of $600,000 by selling your property, can you use that equity somewhere else to make more money? Or can you reinvest your current home equity into another investment, maybe another rental property in a better location that has a higher tenant demand? These are the questions you have to ask yourself, because the smartest investors just don't ask, can I rent this? They ask, is this the best use of my capital? And I want you to be a smart investor as well. So here are the scenarios and situations where it does make sense for you to rent out your property. I'm not saying that renting is always the wrong way. I'm just saying to be careful of what you're doing. It can actually be a smart move for you if you are relocating but plan to move back to the property in the future. And your property cash flow very strong. And even with the real taxes increasing and insurance, you're still going to cash flow, or you have some reserve, to keep the property afloat during the downtime that maybe you have a vacancy or you are not cash flowing. It could also make sense for you to rent out your property if you already maxed out your tax-free gain current window in your current home, or if you have a property management that is very good at their job, that have system and people in place. Now, in this above situation I just mentioned, it does make sense to convert your property into a rental property, so that way you can use it to build wealth long time, but you must know that you are doing this intentionally. So here is the truth: converting your primary home into a rental can either create wealth or quietly destroy it. If you ignore the rules, you lose time, money, and peace. But if you plan correctly, you could turn your home equity into a life-changing opportunity. So if you're still debating whether to rent or sell your current home, or you should just stay put, I don't want you to guess it. I want to give you opportunity to have a call with me so I can give you the clarity you deserve. So I invite you to schedule a clarity call on my calendar. You can find the link to my calendar in the video description below. This is a free, no obligation call where I will be able to help you dissect your specific situation and help you avoid all the costly mistakes that I've seen homeowners make every single day. And before you go, I want you to watch this next video where I walk you through how to turn your home into a rental property in 2025 step by step, if you choose to do so. This video shows you how to do it the right way so you can avoid all the costly mistakes. Using your current home can actually fund your next property safely if you do it the right way. I am Wale Lawal. I'm a rental property investor and a real estate broker based in Texas, and I will see you in this video. Peace.